This video is an introduction to the practical activities for week one. It is intended for those students who were unable to make the practical session for whatever reason, and is going to give you a brief idea of what the intent is behind each of the practical activities. If you are attending a practical in person, your tutor will go through much of the same content and guide you through the activities directly. So when you get to your practical, what you're going to be doing is opening up under the weekly resources. You'll find under the week that we're working on the practical activities for that week. For week one, this is an introduction to all of the assessment tasks that we're going to be working on in the unit, and a chance to start making progress towards producing or completing the activities that will eventually allow you to be assessed in that area. The practical document has detailed step-by-step instructions that will need to be followed either as part of the group activity in the practical session or by yourself if you are completing this outside of a formal session. So in week one, there are a couple of activities that we're going to be working on. The first one is an icebreaker, and this one is going to work better if you are actually taking part in a practical session with other people. There's not too much point in breaking the ice if you're going to do this alone. If you are coming to this after week one has completed, then what is worth doing is to find a number of other people in this situation and work through the activity from this point of view. Okay, why are we doing an icebreaker? Two reasons. We want to get a chance to know other people in the unit. You're going to be working with people in groups later in the unit, and it's a chance to find out who else is there and who you might like to work with. The second thing is because part of our creative technology design sprint is involved in setting up groups and then managing those groups as they go through the steps of the design sprint. Almost the first thing you're going to do is to run your own icebreaker in that group to try and get the team working together effectively right from the beginning. So there are a number of icebreaker activities over here. We would like you to choose one of them, and as a group work out how you can, or as a group take part in the activity itself. There are a range of icebreaker activities, and you can Google for further ones as well if you like. Some of the common ones are to build a tower out of marshmallows and spaghetti, possibly quite tricky to do in an online environment. There is the superpower one, where you share your superpower, what superpower you would like to have with the team in order to give them a bit of insight into your thinking patterns. And of course, there are opportunities to build your own superpowers with some of the technologies during this unit as well. The story exercise is one of these stories where somebody writes the first line or paragraph and then passes it over to another member of the team to carry on with the story, and then you can circulate that around a couple of times in order to see what story develops. If you're having trouble working out how to do this or what to write the story about, there are a number of marvelous online random word generators that you can use as inspiration. You can use that as the theme for the story itself, or when you hand over the story to the next person, you can find a new trigger word and they have to try and incorporate that into their section as well. Alternatively, there's a game of truth or lie, where each person states 3 facts, 2 of which are true, 1 of which is a lie, and the team have to guess which one that is. Once you've done that, and that you can spend about 20 minutes on that, you want to get on into the project concept activity. This is going to be the basis for the project prototype development assessment tasks. We're trying to collect ideas as to things that we might want to work on during the trimester, real challenges that we want to overcome. So the ideas that you generate here will be posted to the discussion forums, and then those will be compiled into a long list, which will then be assigned to the various teams that are formed. Also, when you post it to the discussion forum, the teaching staff will review those and offer suggestions about the way you would phrase your goal, because this is also an important first step in the design sprint process. So what we're looking for is think about something that you think needs to be solved. It can be an issue that you believe would be good for the world as a whole or the country, or it could be something that is just affecting your life. What is bothering you most at the moment? What do you need a solution for? And we're going to try and specify this as a general goal. We don't want to introduce any solution at this stage. That's what our design sprint is going to do. It's going to find creative solutions to problems. But what we do need to do now is to state what that problem is or what our goal is. So we're going to say things like, our goal is to, and fill in the blank there. So there are a couple of examples given there. Our goal is to provide a magical world that satisfies essential needs. Okay, very broad. We're not worried about how to solve it yet. That's coming up next week. Just get those goals out there at the moment. So there are a couple of criteria for that. You should look at, we want to do only innovative new products. So if you can Google it and find that there is already a solution to it, disqualified. It should be related to technology in some way. So we're not looking for goals of perhaps solving world peace, although perhaps we could find a technology-based solution to that. But we are going to be constraining them to ones that are where there could be satisfied by a product we could potentially build. We want you to be ambitious. So sky's the limit here. If you get too science fiction-y though, requiring a technology that is not likely to be on the horizon for another 20 years, then we're probably not going to be able to achieve much. But you'll be surprised at what we can achieve by stating the goal without worrying about what the technologies are that we need to use to build it. Be excited about this. This is the first year of your university degree in many cases. So there's an opportunity to come up with a really cool idea. There will be opportunities for entrepreneurial startups as you proceed through your course. And if you find something that you're really excited about, maybe this could be the start of a project that eventually becomes something that you're involved in over a much longer term. If you are having trouble thinking of things, do have a look at sites like Kickstarter, where there is a number of entrepreneurial ideas that are proposed, and you can see what sort of ideas people are thinking about. But we don't want you to copy their ideas. Don't copy anybody's ideas, really. But that might start getting the creative juices flowing, and you could bounce the ideas around in your team. Once you've got your ideas, post them up into the discussion forum in the format suggested, and then we will collate these and share them with the groups that form in later weeks. The third activity, another 20-minute one, is to start our work on our report about what is creative technology. There are going to be 3 stages to this one. We're going to be doing the first stage this week. So this week we're going to be discussing the ideas, what we think. So we're going to be sharing ideas, conducting research, talking to other people, and collecting information that way. Next week, we're going to be doing a more formal research process where we're going to be searching for sources that will provide us with their interpretations. And then in the third week, we're going to be writing this up in the form of a report. So for this week, we're going to try and get your creative juices flowing. What we want you to do is to work out what is creative technology. We're doing a unit on it. It's probably a good idea to figure out what that is. And the answer is there are multiple interpretations of this. We would like you to pick your interpretation, explain it, and justify it for us. So as a starting point, what you might want to do is to look at these numbered areas over here and classify them as, do you think they are creative technology or not? Then why? What was the basis for your decision? Show your answers to somebody else. Get them to compare their answers. If you disagree, go into a bit more detail. Can you convince the other person that you're right, or can they convince you of their viewpoint? You can agree to disagree as well, but explain your reasoning. Part of what we want here is to pull out some of the critical thinking processes that you're going to need to develop through your university career. Okay, and then you can share what you have learned in a posting on the unit discussion forums. Then what we're going to be doing is giving you a chance to think about your creative technology portfolio. Over the coming weeks, you're going to be working on a range of different technologies. There are a range that are covered in the practicals. There are another set that are covered during the class sessions themselves. We would like you to become familiar with as many of those as possible, because a creative technologist has to be somebody who can pull in bits from a range of different technologies, combine them to effectively produce something meaningful. See whether that insight was relevant to the previous exercise. So what we'd like you to do is to learn several technologies. You're going to need to learn at least 5 of these. 4 of these will be for your digital folio, and the 5th one will be used as part of your product prototype. Your digital folio is something that you want to be able to present to a potential collaborator or to an employer in order to convince them to work with you or to pay you large amounts of money. So we would like you to build a portfolio that is attractive and that demonstrates really what you are capable of. In this exercise, however, we'll start on the specific technologies next week, but we want you to prepare the site that you will be working on. And the way to do that is to go and have a look at other digital portfolios that you find online, see which ones you think will work best, and have a look at the sites that host digital portfolios. There are a number of those. Wix is one that has been very popular in the unit, so I really recommend having a look at that, but there are a number of others that are listed there as well. If you have come from one of the other units in the school that teach you how to build your own website using tools such as WordPress, you're allowed to use these as well. In particular, we don't mind if you include this portfolio as part of any existing portfolio that you have, but what we do ask is that you clearly separate what you have done for this unit from anything else that you have got, so that when we mark this at the end, we will know exactly what you are submitting and not confuse that with anything else. I should point out that submitting content from any other unit's assessment task is an offense in the university. You cannot hand in anything for assessment more than once. So we want you to complete the work in this unit, put that on your portfolio, we will assess it, but you also have that as a resource that you can use if you're going to pick up any extra project work during your university career, and as the basis for a portfolio once you complete the degree. All right, once you've done all of those activities, where it says post things up to the discussion forums, post is up there as a record of what you have done, and then we will pick up again when we get to week 2.